Alright, this radio is going to be for Daniel in the Bluegrass here. Buddy of mine and a customer at my regular workplace. And I got give a little history on these. I got these radios for him been about 2 years ago. Got him 4 or 5 of these Cobra 29. They were refurbished, and they were going to be put in grain trucks and semis and combines and tractors and all that good stuff. So Daniel brought this radio to me, and he told me that it wasn't working right. He's fixing to make a trip and want to make sure it was working okay. So I brought it home, put it on the power supply, and this one was actually in its semi, and just wanted to make sure it was working okay. So there's live antenna. That's a receive. It's working fine. I don't have much here receive wise tonight. My antenna's not that great, but yeah, it's working okay. Receive was not the issue. The transmit part of it was the issue, and up until this point I hadn't even pulled the screws out of this radio. I just left it as it was, and I tested it, and I have put it through the pecking and beating test and everything else to make sure that it hadn't shook something loose in it. And I'm still using his mic with his gear keeper bracket and everything else on here. So I want to show you a test on it, and just so I don't get any of the idiots out here, telling me I shouldn't be testing on air. I am on the internal dummy load on the 1040. My 1040, that's my bird. Freak counter. The only reason why I even pulled the screws out of this thing was I'm going to set the frequency a little bit better on it. I'll show you what it is as it stands, and then we'll reset it. But right now we're going to do a little bit of power test on it to make sure it's working okay. I have not touched this radio since about 2 years ago when he brought it to me. So the only thing it was just a little bit of a tune-up to put in the vehicles. We did not do anything as far as anything's concerned to get really big into it, because these are getting beat and banged around on farm tractors and trucks and stuff like that, so the antennas get beat the hell out of shape, and you can't really do MOSFETs in these things, because if the antenna gets out of resonance, then the MOSFET's going to blow real quick. So we left the stock finals in them. We just tuned them up a little bit, basically turned up the modulation in them. All we did. Left them pretty much factory stock. Other than that, just talk back and forth between vehicles. So here we go. Gonna do our test. Let's see here. We are on the B&K 1040 Service Master. This meter reads pretty much exactly with my bird meter. Right now I am in average mode. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I am. Average mode 10 watts. So I'm on the 10 watt scale. We will be reading the bottom scale 0 to 10 watts. Audio, almost 4 watts. Go up here to the bird, average scale on the bird. Audio, 4 watts. We've got a 50 watt slug in there. So we'll be reading the middle scale, 0 to 50. Audio, still a 4 watt stock radio. Reason why I took the screws out of this thing, I'm going to show you this. It's warmed up a little bit now. That's what the frequency's showing. 27,345.09. I'm going to adjust it a little bit to get it right back on the money, or close to it. It's not off enough on AM that it's going to hurt anything, but I'm still going to adjust it and put it out right. A while ago it was reading about 1.4 before it warmed up, but it's been sitting here running for a little while, so you know, there you go. Before anybody has a stroke, I am on the internal dummy load. I mean, I'm not broadcasting on air. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of a peak test. Let's see here. We will go to, let me find it here. It's hard to see it in the camera. We're going to go to peak power. I'm going to kick it up to the 50 watt scale, so which means that we will be reading 0 through 50 on the top scale. I'm going to kick this meter up. We're going to be in the peak scale, 50 watt slug. We'll be reading 0 through 50 on the middle watt scale. See what we've got. Audio. Audio. Go up to the bird. Audio. Audio. Both meters are reading almost exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. So what we're going to do here, flip this thing over, down here to the radio. Then we do not have a problem whatsoever. What I'm going to do is try to adjust this frequency out. Try to do it with one hand. Try to hold this up here for you. I'm going to do it that way. Try to hold this up here where we can see it with one hand and hold the camera. There you go, bud. 27,345.00. Don't get a whole lot closer than that. Not gonna get a whole lot closer than that. So we've got you back on the money. Cover's back on it. See what she reads now. 27,345.00. Dead on the old frequency counter. And still putting out the wattage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. She did on the money. So that means that there has to be a problem somewhere else in the truck. Like you said this you had this in your semi, so it's gonna have to be somewhere in the power cable. You're having trouble with it power wise. I have done the beat and bump test on this thing, and it's still working fine. So it's got to be somewhere in the actual truck itself. It's got to be on your battery connection, got to be in your fuse holders, got to be in something. You did not send me the actual real power cord to it, so I'm running off my power supply here in the shop. But I'm still using the stock mic. It's not in the mic, it's not in the radio, so we'll have to go from there. Anyway, thanks, brother. We'll bring it back to you tomorrow. Later.